There's a huge Wellingtonia tree in the churchyard at St Kentigern's in Coldbeck. It's a really soft bark. Watch this. How do, folks? Back in the Lake District today, first time this year I'm in the Northern Fells. Not on my own, I've got Lee with me and his son Alf. Just been down into Coldbeck, had a couple of pints there, just had a look around the village and church and stuff. Our first objective up here is Pike, and the plan is to camp on Carrick Fell. I'm not sure what sort of a video this is going to be, folks. When I'm with people I find it hard. I feel like I should move on and go at their pace. I also feel like a bit of a Joe Egg doing this in front of people. We'll see if I've got enough footage to put something together. Just coming up to the mine, spoil heaps and stuff now. Geologically interesting, these Northern Fells. I'm not sure you can hear me above the wind, but there's the top of High Pike, and then we're going to follow this path down here, and that basically curves all the way up to the top of Carrick Fell. So there, straight ahead, is Carrick Fell. It's quite a nice rocky excrescence, is that the word? From this angle. I like it. I think Wainwright, in his Northern Fells guides, I've read it somewhere, says it's like an outlier here. It's not natural in the Northern Fells. It'd be more at home at the in Borrowdale. Yeah, it looks really interesting from here. We're walking through a rocky area now where outcrops are starting to appear through the peat. And I've talked about the geology hereabouts being interesting. We're walking in an area of major igneous activity on Carrick Fell. Yeah, the bulk of the rocks hereabouts is a basic igneous rock called gabbro, which is well known as the constituent rock of the cooling on the Isle of Skye. Off the top of my head, you know, I can't think of anywhere else in England where there's gabbro. Could be wrong. It's a bit in the Charnwood Forest in Leicestershire. Anyway, yeah, a lot of this is gabbro. It doesn't look very good here at the moment 'cause it's all weathered. But I've got a piece at home. It's like a billiard ball, a round cobble that I picked up off the beach at St Bees on Cumbrian Coast, not far from here. And because it's been like weathered by the sea and eroded, it's quite a nice decorative rock. It's like a big round spherical billiard ball of gabbro. I did have a job putting tent up. It were I don't know, I just struggled getting the pegs in, then it was sagging in bits, it were over tight on other bits. The ground's very uneven. Anyway, I've sorted it now. I'll have a straighten up in a minute, which is a bit of a tip. Still in my winter sleeping bag. I've got my down boots there. Yeah, it's going to get to -1 tonight, so chilly, middle of April and all. Well, isn't this a splendid evening? The wind's really dropped and we're camped on, like, the summit's just up there, but we're camped on this plateau here, and this must be, because this is an Iron Age hill fort, must have been where the Iron Age roundhouses were situated. I mean, just look at that, it's pretty cool, isn't it? And on sort of a line right through my tent, the nearest one, Lee's light green tent, just above it there, Crossfell. Fantastic. Now what I think is pretty cool is this fortification, this massive stony rampart here, and you can see it, trace it round the fell where Alf is, right over there. I think we're going to try and follow the perimeter of this after. Yeah, I'm sure you'd have got roundhouses up here. That's the perfect spot anyway, because there's less rocks. Could be wrong, I'm not too good on the Iron Age. I talked earlier about this gabbro when it's clean, freshly broken surface, what a decorative rock it is. It's quite, well, very weathered up here. No, even that's not a good piece. I'll show you that bit I've got at home. Very faintly in the centre there is a sundog, an optical feature when the sun's sinking through thin veils of cloud. Don't know whether you've seen these, big flock of golden plover. My hands are flipping freezing.
Take your socks out of your boots tonight, Al. They'll be alright, they're not wet.
Right, it's 8:30 and we've retreated to the tents. It's cold outside. Not had anything to eat for ages. I had a couple of sausage rolls on Pike. So I'm going to make something to eat now, and I'll speak to you again in a bit. I've got my tea warming up down my front. Nice hot water bottle. Reading material for this trip is Wainwright's Northern Fells, unsurprisingly, because Carrick Fell is in this one. And let's see what it has to say about Carrick Fell. I'll have a read and come back to you if I find out good. Look at that, it's got the date here when I bagged it, 13th of February 2007. Don't know whether you can see that at the top there. Me and Kathy did that. I think we were staying up at Patterdale Youth Hostel, and we drove up here and did it, and it was a cold day with drifting mist, very boggy underfoot. But I enjoyed it then, even in them conditions. Right, well, I've had my tea. It's hang on, 20 to 10, late tea that, but that should sort of warm me up for the night now. I feel very comfortable. Not a breath of wind, considering how windy it was when we were doing the walk. It said it was going to drop, but there's literally nothing, so that's really nice. I love it when it's not windy. Even though we started the walk from the road at the bottom of Carrick Fell, near the ford, I met Lee and Alf in Colbeck, just to the north of here, about 11:30ish.
But we also had a look round churchyard, St Kentigern's. We wanted to have a look at, oh, what's he called, that huntsman? John Peel. Do you ken John Peel? Anyway, we had a look at his grave and stuff like that. Normally I wouldn't bother with huntsmen and stuff, but he's quite famous, this fella, isn't he? And there's that song about him. But by all accounts, he's a bit of a nutcase. I read somewhere that if one of his hunting dogs had misbehaved, he'd lose his rag with it and he'd throw it down a well and then run away with his hands over his ears, so he wouldn't be able to hear the dog like howling and screaming down the well. It sounds like a right weirdo. You know, I'm such a gormless bleeder on these camps. I was pissed off earlier. I thought I'd lost one of my best low alpine gloves, which I've had for absolute years. I love these gloves. Anyway, I'm trying to organise a bit of stuff in town. I could only find one. And I went out, had a look out around 10. In dark, in my head torch, I walked up to the top near the summit curve. I put my pack down, couldn't find it there. So I thought, I'll leave it on high Pike. Anyway, I lifted all my sleeping system up and I found it flat as a pancake underneath there. I'd been lying on it for a couple of hours or something, so got both gloves now. I'm quite happy. It's lovely outside. When I had a walk up to the top looking for my glove, it's starry, but there's like a very thin veil of cloud, so the stars are a bit diffused through the cloud, but it's pretty pleasant outside. I said earlier, we're forecast to go down to -1, but it's definitely not that. It's actually quite nice outside. But it's getting quite late now, so I think that's me done for tonight, and I'll speak to you in the morning. God bless. Good night. Morning, folks. It's nearly 7:15. I've had some rain overnight, which I don't think we're forecast, but it's looking a bit brighter over there. I've just stuck my head out. Skylight singing over there. What a nice morning to wake up to. Had a really good night's sleep. Were lights out, 11:30ish. Woke up about 2:30, out like a light again, and woke up about 5:30. That's really good for me. I must have been tired. So I'm going to brew up, do a bit of sorting. Oh, just heard a red grouse. First one I've heard on this trip. I don't think there's many red grouse up here. And then I'll start tackling down. So our descent is just straight down, no messing about this morning. Although, probably shouldn't be talking to camera here, I need to look where I'm putting my feet. I've got my walking sticks to negotiate some of these big boulders, but yeah, I'm going to put the camera away and I'll speak to you before I get back to the car. I meant to mention this yesterday. One of the main geologists who studied the suite of igneous rocks on Carrick Fell was one of my old university lecturers from Liverpool University, Dr. Bob Hunter. I remember Bob very well. He came on field trips with us to Pembrokeshire, stuff like that. He was a bloody good geologist. Anyway, I found out not long after I graduated, he died, and he weren't an old bloke. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, this was one of his sort of main papers and study areas, Carrick Fell. It's a steep, unpleasant path, this descent. That's it, looking back up. Well, we're on the descent now, on a pretty levelish sort of path. Awful descent that, utterly horrendous. I was surfing down rivers of boulders, pirouetting, stumbling, falling.
hard graft. But we're descending now, and then there's a path that sort of cuts across this moor area to the road. A bit hot now. Yeah, this was Alf's first wild camping trip, and he's had a good one there, good introduction to it. Very impressed with Carrick Fell. Like I said last time I was here was 2007. Much better conditions, even though we got a bit of rain overnight. Really good. Right folks, I need to concentrate again. Here's one or two little bad steps, so same as usual. Thanks for watching, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next time.